Hi, my name is Eric Worth, and I am an MBA student at Concordia University in Seward, Nebraska. First off, I want to start by thanking Mr. Sands and the other members of Constellation Brands Executive Board for taking time out of your busy schedules to meet with me and listen to my strategy proposal for your company. I'd like to start by sharing a recap of some of my research in regards to your company, the market in which you compete, your financials and forecasting. And finally, I would like to propose 4 business strategies based on my findings and how to evaluate them for success. Constellation Brands is a global producer of premium beers, wine, and spirits. Constellation's portfolio features many popular brands such as Corona and Modelo beers, Robert Mondavi and Toasted Head wines, Svedka vodka, and many more. Constellation Brands' history can be traced back to 1945 when the company was founded with an initial investment of $60,000. At that time, the company was known as Canandaigua Industries, and it specialized in selling bulk wine by the barrel to various resellers along the eastern coast of the United States. Those resellers, in turn, rebranded the wine as their own and then sold it to customers. In the company's first full year of operation, the company reported approximately $150,000 in sales, despite only having 8 employees. It didn't take long for things to take off for Constellation Brands. Within the first decade, the company began reporting profits in excess of $1 million. From there, the company used strategic partnerships and acquisitions to grow their business. In 2016, the company reported a gross profit of nearly $3 billion. Because many of Constellation Brands' wine producers grow the grapes that are used in their winemaking process, the company itself, in a sense, is an agricultural and manufacturing company. Once the goods are produced, they are then sold to wholesalers and distributors throughout the country, who in turn sell it to retail stores and bars. This is what is referred to as a 3-tier distribution system. This process was set up after the Prohibition because they wanted to prevent big beer companies and big liquor companies from having a direct influence on the consumer. While the 3-tier distribution system does have some benefits, it is also very difficult for big businesses because the wholesaler and the distributor have the final say on what the price is to the consumer, as well as additional costs for shipping and other outbound logistics. Direct-to-consumer is another strategy that some of the brands within Constellation uses to sell their product. Robert Mondavi is one of those examples. On the company's website, they allow consumers to sign up for a wine club where they purchase the wine on the website and it is shipped directly to the end consumer. This is a great strategy for the company because it eliminates that 3-tier distribution system and reduces the middleman and shipping costs involved with that. To fully assess Constellation Brands' business model, I performed a value chain analysis to take a look at the primary and secondary functions of the company and look for areas of strengths as well as areas of opportunity. Presently, Constellation does a great job of controlling their supply chain. In the past, they partnered with a glass bottling company called Owens, Illinois, and right now they currently produce over half of their glass bottles through this partnership. The company also does a great job of reducing inbound logistics by owning and renting the land that they use for their wineries. They also centralized much of their brewing operations in Mexico, and with this centralized brewing location, they're able to cut down the additional shipping in of goods as well as the shipping out of goods and the overall operational costs for managing multiple breweries. The company does have some areas of opportunities, mostly with their outbound logistics and marketing. Right now, with the new presidency, there is concern about increases on imported goods and the tariffs involved with that. Since a majority of Constellation's beers are produced in Mexico, this is something that is on the horizon that they need to look to get ahead of. Also, leveraging that direct-to-consumer strategy that was discussed previously with Robert Mondavi would be another way to help the company cut outbound logistic costs. As far as marketing goes, the companies have established recognizable brands and have leveraged social media in the past. Going forward, they have an opportunity to continue using social media, which is an effective way to reach consumers using little marketing dollars. Focusing in on the beer industry that Constellation Brands competes in and performing a five forces analysis, it is important to note that it is a highly competitive industry with a large number of producers out there. The threat to new entry is relatively low because of the high cost in starting a new brewery, but in the craft beer segment alone, barriers are low and new entrants are entering the marketplace every day. This adds to the highly competitive nature of the beer industry. Here we have a strategic group map of the beer industry within the United States. The companies represented here are the top producers of beer, and the size of their bubble is an indication of their 2016 annual sales for beer alone. The horizontal axis indicates the number of brands within each company, and the vertical axis is the price per six-pack for their products. It is important to notice Constellation's position on that vertical axis. As more millennials enter the marketplace, one important thing that they look at is the price of the beer they are purchasing. A higher priced beer has a higher perceived value with millennials, so this puts Constellation Brands in a very positive strategic position. In performing a SWOT analysis for Constellation Brands, I found that the company's strengths rely on their brand recognition, with Corona being one of the most popular beers out in the marketplace. The company also benefits from having widespread availability as it is sold across the United States. The company also does a great job with strong advertising. Again, Corona has a holiday ad that has been one of the longest holiday ads in production. Finally, as mentioned before, there is a growing population of millennials out there, and this serves as another strength for the company. In regards to weaknesses, although Constellation Brands has many popular name beers, they are limited to the import beer category and are still trying to find a way to emerge into the craft beer segment. The company also suffers from the three-tier distribution system and in how they get their products to the end consumer. Finally, back to the millennial, they do have a preference towards trying multiple beers throughout a month, so this can be a weakness for the company as their total number of variety is still slim. As far as opportunities go, the spirits industry has seen steady growth over the years, but the company still features an underdeveloped portfolio of brands. The company also, as mentioned, is still trying to find a way to get into the craft beer movement, so this serves as an opportunity for future growth. Finally, studies show that beer is the primary choice of alcoholic beverage in the country of Mexico, which provides another opportunity to take existing brands like Corona and Modelo and focus on capturing market share within Mexico. Finally, with threats, as we mentioned earlier, the possibility of government-imposed tariffs could pose a threat to the production of beers in Mexico and then being imported into the United States. Also, the same study that showed that preferences for spirits was gradually on the rise also showed that the preference for beer in the United States is slowly declining. Taking a look at the external factors and internal factors of the beer industry and how it relates to Constellation Brands, the company scores above average to average in both matrices. For external factors, two of the big benefits that Constellation Brands has is that there is a rising craft beer movement. With this, it presents new growth opportunities and increased sales. Also, the marketplace has seen a wide variety of strategic acquisitions. This is very healthy for the company, having given past acquisitions and future opportunity for more acquisitions. From an opportunity standpoint, there is growth within the spirit industries as well as rising homebrew sales. Both of these factors can potentially take customers away and prevent future sales for the company. From an internal factor perspective, strong brand recognition and the domination of the import market are two of the strongest features of Constellation Brands. Also, in 2016, an acquisition of Ballast Point, a San Diego-based craft brewery, gives them presence in the craft brew market and ability to reach out to those customers. From an opportunity standpoint, they have an inability to reach into the domestic beer market, which is controlled by Anheuser-Busch. Also, the fact that a majority of the beer is produced in Mexico may pose potential problems with import taxes and tariffs in the future. Taking a look at financials, from 2015 to 2016, the company reports positive trending in each category, with working capital being the only section where there is negative trending. With working capital, they reported a loss of $1 billion, but that is in direct correlation to the recent acquisition of Ballast Point, which for a long term will be a benefit for the company. I took a look at the past 3 years' results to come up with potential projections for 2017. The company is expecting increases in sales, profit, and income. From an investor standpoint, things look very healthy for Constellation Brands, and financing should be available for some of the possible recommendations coming up. Now that we've taken a look at the company's history, the market in which it competes, and the financials that were generated by Constellation Brands, it's time to take a look at what recommendations could be implemented in the future to help take Constellation Brands to the next level. My first recommendation would be to create a craft-style beer that would live under the Corona brand name. This would give Constellation Brands an opportunity to jump into an emerging craft beer market and do so with a brand that is already established and has a loyal customer base. The company would be able to learn from past successes experienced by Ballast Point in their recent acquisition. This gives Corona an opportunity to take their product to the next level, as well as jump into other markets, including the craft beer market within Mexico. My next recommendation would be a pre-bottled Corona Rita. Right now in the restaurant industry, there is a growing trend that is popular with consumers where they are taking a bottle of Corona, flipping it upside down, and placing it into a margarita. This would be a huge benefit for Constellation Brands, one, because of the already established brand awareness for Corona, but because they also have a brand, Casanova, that competes in the tequila industry. This strategy would increase awareness for Casanova and be very successful. Also, Bud Light has a Lime-A-Rita, which has a similar sort of offering, but would miss out on that tequila essence that a pre-bottled Corona Rita from Constellation Brands could offer. The third recommendation has the ability to benefit every brand that Constellation Brands owns. In this strategy, the company would be able to cross-sell between the wine, beer, and liquor industries. Picture this. A consumer is looking to buy a 12-pack of Corona Light bottles. When they open the box, they see a coupon for $5 off a bottle of Robert Mondavi wine. This strategy is great for the company because it has a low cost to implement, and it establishes loyalty at a parent brand level rather than just establishing loyalty at the individual brand. My final recommendation, capitalize on another popular trend going on in the beer industry. This would be the combination of the existing brands owned by Constellation and combining them into a variety pack. This pack would include Corona, Pacifico, as well as Ballast Point and other brands under the same parent company. What's great about this strategy is it would create brand awareness for the lesser known brands while also reaffirming the established loyalty for existing brands like Corona and Modelo. With this strategy, it also would create loyalty at that parent brand level, something that has yet to really been achieved within the beer market. Now that we've reviewed the recommendations, it's all about tracking their progress and evaluating how these are successful. With this strategy, we would go to market. After launching the product in the market, we would take a look whether it's 30 days, 6 months, or a year later, take a look at how that product has affected the external and internal factors within the market. We would do this by creating another EFE and IFE matrix. If we see positive traction within the market, we would move to our next step. If not, and we see negative changes, what we would do is seek corrective action. Corrective action in this scenario could be revising the product, making organizational change, or anything that would help move the product in the direction that it needs to go. If we seek correction action and we see the positive trending that we need, our next step would be to review the performance. Again, this can be done on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis. And essentially what we would do is take a look at the sales, the cost, the return on investment to make sure that we are establishing what we are looking to do with our goals. Again, if we do not see the results that we would need, we would take a look at what we're doing, where we could establish corrective action and make improvements. If we see the improvements that we are looking to make, then the next step would be whether we want to push the brand further, make modifications, or keep it as is and work on the next product. I want to thank you again for taking the time to listen to my presentation regarding Constellation brands and potential business strategies. I truly think with these recommendations, Constellation Brands has the ability to revolutionize the beer industry, be the first to create next level brand awareness for their entire parent brand, and be able to break down barriers between the beer, wine, and spirit industries. I truly believe together with these strategies, we can create a brand that everyone loves.